Alright everyone, welcome along. Week 11. Do we have time for some extras? I think we do. It's just a quick one today because I just wanted to really cover one thing. Okay, really have a look at the new map that we found. Okay, been looking for this for a while, kind of found it. It's one I've looked at in the past and I was like, oh, I don't know. And it's probably more just that we didn't have the, well, yeah. I had a lot of other things going on at the time. We went with a different route, but this now, definitely at version 3, is definitely the one that we'll be using for a lot more of what we do going forward. So let's cut an hour into Power BI desktop and have a check. Cheers. Alright, so what we had in the past was issues, didn't we, around maps, and especially as Power BI would sample out and say, well, we're not going to cover that big chunk of your data. And that makes it difficult when you've got large scales of data to actually put in. Now, there is reasoning for having it, okay, in terms of just the processing power that it puts onto a machine makes it difficult to consume. And Power BI as a concept was always around getting data out into everyone's hands. So it needs to be able to run in as lightweight as possible fashion. Also with web servers, it's difficult to know really the spec of web servers. Shared web servers in the Power BI service, of course, as well. So, you know, if you've kind of got these whole things. But this works with them, and I wanted to show you the two. So we've got, and we've used in the past, haven't we, the idea that we've got Sundance here. We can zoom in and we can see, here's Sundance, right? And it's great because he plots it on latitude, longitude, and you can see that's a map. Clearly that's a map. But it's not a map, is it? It's just a scatter plot on latitude and longitude. Okay? Now, the point we made here with this was around getting you to think, these are scatter plots, right? This is a scatter plot as well, right? Over a map. So we've got a map layer underneath now, which actually gives an awful lot more context. And the piece that I was struggling with before, we were saying, was what's what when you're hovering over like a map on Sundance or a scatter plot, if we were to do that, versus what's a map. So we can actually suddenly start to see, so we could zoom in, couldn't we? And say, well, here, oh, well, there's Washington. So we see, oh, there's Washington. Oh, we can keep going further afield and we can see, all right, here's our other areas, right? Okay, so it all actually works, okay? There is a gotcha with these maps, right? The biggest gotcha that I've found with the icon map so far, right, I'm sure there's others, right? Firstly, it's not the quickest, okay? So if we filter it, right, it's not the quickest. So if we say, well, let's see the states or the counties that voted for Obama, okay? And we can see, here we are, right? The places that voted for Obama. And that wasn't quick, okay? We'll switch to see the Romney ones, and it, you know, it takes a couple of seconds. Right? This is the impact of having like so many points that we're plotting. You know, essentially when we get everything in, we're plotting nearly 23,500 points onto a map. So I think you can forgive it taking some time. Bear in mind I've got 2 of these visuals, so that's like what, 48,000 nearly plots. But it's interactive, it works. The big thing, as I say, is with the filtering, right, this is the only map that I can think of off the top of my head, right, that by default uses filter as a, sorry, it uses highlight, cross highlight, as opposed to filter as a default for it. So you need to make sure if you are using it that you change the interactions to filter as opposed to the cross highlight, right? Don't want to get into the filter versus cross highlight functionality piece here. There are reasons for both and there are benefits for both and there are times for both. But with maps, you need to be filtering your maps, just like you need to filter tables. You can't do anything else, yeah? It's kind of like, it's one of those things, filter, okay? So if we go back to the page that I built, which was this one, which has just it, okay? You can see it comes up, it loads, right? I've got borders on here, which is the problem. So if we have a look at some of the functionality here. So if we go to the formatting, we'll turn the borders off, and then we'll make the object, make the dot size to 2 as a minimum, as opposed to 1, right? And on this size we've used, I think we're still using population for the size, yeah, for the size of it. So if you zoom in, we'll find that New York actually has a massive population compared to everything else, okay? Again, there's lots of scope that you can do. So I've got this set here where the minimum is 10, and the maximum I've put 5, but I'm going to put 10 on here. Sorry, so it's now minimum size of 2, maximum 10, and that'll allow us to zoom in and we'll see New York. You can really see the difference there. Okay, so this has so many options available under it, right, that I've barely even scratched the surface so far. What I would say is that if you want to do more with it, go to App Source, okay, and I'll put a link in to the App Source page below, in the description below, right? Have a look at the icon map. There is a Power BI file that you can download the sample, have a look at that, explore some of the things. There are some other videos, and I'll put a link to somebody else's channel down below. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. Flash it up here saying who she is. MVP, she's a very intelligent lady, does some great video content. It really kind of was like, for me with this. This is what I was looking for, it's what I needed. So suddenly we can now do the New York water tower stuff and actually have all our dots potentially and start to work out how we're going to piece it together or how we're going to make everything work together. Yeah? So we'll have a quick look at that. I think we should. So here we are, yeah? And you can see, can't you, the map structure, okay? It's performant, it works. I've gone with a dark map. We could go with a different one, right? And it's interactive, so as we hover over it, shows us the history of that building and all the testing that's gone on there. And we can zoom in and we can find, I think, the ambers. I should talk about this, definitely an issue with this. I do need to look at this because I'm sure it's not right, right? But we can start to explore and see, right, this is what's happening. That's what's happening. We can pull those together. It also supports the drill through, so we can go and actually get a details view of any particular location. And you can see we've got a nice satellite style view here where we could zoom in and find out where our water tower is for this 11 Madison Avenue, in Manhattan. Okay, works very well, very nice. So one of the things that I guess we're going to talk about, and I mentioned before, let's have a quick look here, right, was let's see just how easy it is to find places. So the first place that I wanted to find, okay, so here, right, Bellevue Hospital Center. So we can right click on here, drill through, hit the details page, okay. This is actually the hospital that was used as the basis for New Amsterdam in terms of the filming, the outside filming, right, was this place, okay. But you can find it, no problem. We can see what's happening with it. We can see how its testing has gone in different areas, okay, and we can actually really pick out and understand what's happening, okay. So it's brilliant, right? That was the point of getting this report built, okay. Let's go back and we can check as well, can't we? Because the other place that we need to check is, of course, where John Wick stays, isn't it? So if we zoom in, we can find out, and we can see the map is loading. It's reasonably quick. So it's here, this one here, 76 Beaver Street, right? This is the post office across the road from the Continental Hotel, right, where John Wick be staying. But shh, I didn't tell you that, did I? Okay, and we can see here it's been fine. There's obviously a problem, we can see, back in 2018. And interestingly, it's come back. That was something I was concerned about. Is there a way back? What does the D mean? What does the no mean? So what do you reckon then? Okay, whistle stop tour, I know. Okay, but the icon map is showing promise, right? There's so many things you can do with it. You can build layers, you can start to put those in. Okay, it relies on Mapbox, so be prepared. If you're a big organization, you might well find you need to buy a Mapbox subscription. For me, I'm able to use the free tier, and that gets me 50,000 queries a month. I think it's 50,000. I'll check before I put it in if I'm wrong. Get X many API calls per month, and that works. But if you think that's going to be page reads, so every time the page loads, it's going to fire one off. So if you've got lots of maps in lots of pages and lots of reports being used by lots of people, you're going to find that 50,000 flies away pretty quickly. If not, you might be able to get away with it. Okay, but it's a brilliant service. It's great that it's there. You can build layers with it as well. So we're going to do some more, I think, with this. I'm definitely looking at more maps that we can need to do. I'm already seeing, because with the icon map, we can do start and journey to destination. I'm wondering if we should revisit the New York taxi data set even, and start to see how that looks as we're looking at journeys from borough to borough, or from NTC to NTC. So we'll track all those and start to see what works, what doesn't work, and how does it all look, and see if we can make something amazing out of it. Again, I'm learning this stuff too, and I love doing the learning with you guys, because as I say, if I'm just doing stuff and just trying to fiddle it, I won't find half the things that I find when I'm trying to do stuff to produce a video. So have a great weekend, stay safe, ta-da.